Hey, friends, welcome back to the Do Cool Shit podcast. I am joined today by an awesome guest, and I know this is going to be just a really great conversation. As always, we don't really know where it's going to go, but we know it'll go in great directions. So I want to welcome Quinto, aka Quinn. Hood, I know you told me that I need to say your real name because it's such a cool intertwining of your business.
Yeah,
But
absolutely. Yeah, I'm fine with it.
okay.
It was like, sorry to kind of hijack this intro, but Quinto was always a name that like it's a family name. It meant something to me, but I always got that like, what's your name? People pronouncing it wrong. So I just kind of dropped it for a really long time. And then as I got older and matured a little bit, I was like, kind of thought about what it meant to me and embraced it a little bit more. So it's still kind of weird. It's almost weird for me to call myself that. Because whenever somebody asks like, hey, what's your name? I'm like Quinn. But yeah, Quinto, Quinn, whatever you want to call me, I'm good.
Yeah. I like it, but I think that's something as kids where you don't want to be unique so much of the time, and I can relate in my name as well.
Yeah.
And like, "Oh," and you get made fun of and blah, 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 and then you kind of, like, hate it, and then at some point, it means more to you.
Yeah.
So,
And as you get older, you want that uniqueness back. You value that a lot more. Yeah.
yeah, I agree. So we're gonna use it. We're gonna throw it out there for people. So,
Cool.
so a little bit about you in a nutshell, which we'll like get into the rest of it in this podcast. But you're an athlete. You are a competitive power lifter. You're a coach, business owner. It sounds like you do personal training as
Yep.
well. And I know you have an awesome partner, and you have dogs too, right?
Yes. Two toy poodles.
My
That
gosh,
never thought I would be a small dog person or a poodle person for that matter. But now, yeah, I'm all in. I'm
I
obsessed.
love it. How much do
Yeah.
they weigh?
The one of them is slightly bigger. He's like 8, 9
What?
pounds, and the other one is 6 or 7. So yeah, I mean, they're smaller than cats.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's wild.
That is I have 2 dogs that are, like, 100 pounds each, so I'm like,
Yeah,
"I always want this small dog to carry around," but
yeah,
it always makes me laugh when we talk about weight difference.
yeah, yeah, hilarious.
Uh, okay, so I was looking through when I'm, like, researching someone, which is I say that word very, very lightly. I was looking through your Instagram, and I saw
Right.
something that I wanted to kind of start out with because I
Mhm.
love this quote that you had. And you said, sometimes the greatest strength isn't found in what we can lift, but in having the courage to lift ourselves into a life we're truly passionate about.
Ooh,
I know. I
I
was
don't
like,
even remember saying it. That's really good.
isn't that so fun when you're like, oh my
Yeah,
God, that's good. I said
that
that.
I said that? Yeah, I should use that more.
Yeah, you should. So tell me, tell me what you think of when you hear that.
Mm, I think that's really, to me, what all of this is about. Like, the fitness coaching and improving yourself in general is to, build that resiliency, build a body that is healthy and capable to allow you to do everything that you want to do, all of those things that you are passionate about. And the mental and emotional aspect of it, of, building the mental resilience, building more confidence with yourself so that you're able to take on those challenges and do that hard thing that you are passionate about, even if, it doesn't feel that way. And I think that for me, it's like the skill set that I have to give to people is the strength training and the confidence and the comfortability to come into the gym and do those things. And we can start there and then build off of that into, whatever else it is you need in your life. Yeah.
I love it. Yeah. I mean, this is a conversation I have so much with people where what we do inside the gym just carries over into
hmm
every single asset and facet of our lives. So,
Yeah, and you really can kind of take those things, and that was even kind of the idea with, like, the 5 powers of fitness and strength being that first one, and the reason it is the first one is because I think too, like, everything in life kind of starts with the strength or that courage aspect of it. And so if we can build that strength in the gym, build the strength to even get in the gym, then we can kind of carry that over into, learning that we can do really hard things. And like I said, that emotional resilience, building that confidence that you can, do something, stick to it, succeed. So that was a big piece of that strength aspect in general.
Mm. So I'm gonna have you name your 5
Yeah.
power of fitness, and
Okay.
also kind of like I'll let you talk because you
Yeah.
didn't get here by accident, right? So
Yeah.
helped you like name what they are and then what kind of helped you or what was your story really in just like getting into this point where you're at?
Yeah. So the 5 powers of fitness are strength, muscle, nutrition, intention, and action.
Mm,
So the strength piece of it, it really came from when I started to work in person with clients. The biggest issue that I saw was that people were just, and I don't want to be harsh, but people were just weak, or they didn't understand how to strength train, or the reason that they couldn't do the things that they wanted, or the reason that their body hurt is because that they weren't strong. They didn't have confidence in movement. So I wanted to make sure that I started everybody there at that strength piece. Like that to me is the foundation. And, strength training does a number of things for your physical health outside of weight loss and all that stuff. But yeah, and then that carryover piece that we just talked about of carrying over the mental strength, the emotional strength really is what makes that the first power. Muscle, I think a lot of people might think like, "Oh, we're just talking about building muscle or having more muscle mass." And that's not necessarily the direction that I had with it. Like, yes, muscle mass is super important again for your general health, but we know that people with obesity and people that are overweight have large amounts of muscle mass, but it's not necessarily healthy muscle mass. But my idea with the muscle piece was to live your life with the intention of building and maintaining as much muscle as possible. I want people to avoid I just want to get skinny, and I want to actually be healthy. And that is to build and maintain that muscle, and things like, eating a high protein diet, fueling your body. Those things are good for the weight loss and physique piece of it, even outside of, just the bodybuilding muscle mass type of thing. So I think it was just living with that intention and doing things in your fitness journey to make sure that we are building and maintaining muscle mass. I don't coach like cardio people all that much. So that was super important to me. The nutrition piece, obviously, nutrition is a big piece of our health and what we talk about in general. And getting that part right is really big for people. So, and I take kind of, again, a little bit of a different view of nutrition. It's not just like, hey, I'm going to calculate your macros and here you go. It's more, how do we, again, fuel our bodies properly? How do we build a diet? And when I say diet, it's just the food that we eat that works with your lifestyle, with your goals. So we're going to think about the nutrition in that way of I'm not restricting myself to lose weight. What am I going to gain by eating better? So that fueling your body, all those kind of things. So those are the three, like, straight up fitness, nutrition, coaching pieces of it. And then the intention and the action really kind of came from, okay, what else do we need? And I think acting with intention in everything that we do, whether it's in the gym, with our diet, is really, really important to reach whatever your goals are. So if we're acting with intention, I'm eating with intention. I know, what the foods are that I need to be eating to fuel my goals. I am training with the intention of getting better in the gym so that I can get stronger, so that I can build muscle, do all of these things. So it's just having that intention and kind of creating this version of yourself that is the person that gets to the gym, that eats right. Like that intention piece is creating that version of yourself, which we know is that, like, that's the hardest step of the lifestyle change, because so many people think of it as like, oh, I'm going to do this 12-week workout plan and this specific diet, and then I'll be I'll reach my goal and I'll be good to go. But it's
Right.
really, we have to carry that through. And that's where the intention piece comes in. And then action being the base of everything is like, none of that other stuff matters unless we actually take the action. Like, for the most part, if I tell people all of these things, like, hey, you should get stronger, you should build some muscle, you should eat better, and you should care about doing all of that, they're like, yeah, great. I do. I want to. And I can tell you all the things, I can give you all of the information. But if we don't do anything with it, then it doesn't matter. So the action is just now doing the work and doing that work consistently, continuing to show up. It doesn't always have to be perfect, but as long as we are doing and moving forward, then we can get toward those goals. And that's kind of where that came from as well.
I just
Yeah.
the last episode I did was about intentionality. So it's all about the intention and
Yeah.
action and how those things are like truly, truly necessary in
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah. I think if you don't do those things, like it's almost like that those powers are kind of a pyramid of like that base is the action of doing the thing. We set the intention and then it goes all the way up to the peak of being our strongest self. But yeah, it's like, and that those are the things that I had to learn really quickly in other areas of my life. Cause like the physical fitness aspect of it always came very easy to me. I've been an athlete my entire life. The minute that I walked into the gym, I loved every second of it. I literally got to the point when I was in college that I was just playing football to keep training to play football. Like I liked the time in the gym more than I liked actually playing the sport at a certain point. So it was like I had all that, but then I wasn't able to get that carryover of the intentionality in other aspects of my life and working to develop those and that action piece as well. Cause, I've read a million self-help books and none of them helped me until I actually found things and planned to implement them. I set an intention for myself and planned to implement them. Or, even in, your relationships, like you have to continue to show up intentionally. You have to continue to do the things that are necessary to keep that relationship going. So in all those areas of my life, I realized how important it was. So I wanted to kind of bring that into the fitness realm so that we can then carry it over.
So where'd you go to college? You played football in college?
Yeah, I played football at the College of Worcester in Ohio. It's a Division III school. I'm a short guy, so I played Division III for a few years. I didn't finish my career there. I ended up going to Pitt, where I did not play football. Much too small for that, but I finished my degree at Pitt. Yeah,
Okay. What was your degree in?
finance.
Oh,
I am not. I'm really a self-taught in the whole kind of fitness strength coaching realm. I don't have any quote unquote formal education, but it's always been the thing that I've been most passionate about. So I've tried to learn as much as I possibly could, talking to people smarter than me, hiring someone like Paul to help me build our business. So all those kind of steps along the way kind of taught me a lot, and just getting in the gym, coaching and doing the work. Like I tell new coaches all the time when I either bring them onto our team at the gym that I work at, I'm the coaching manager there as well. Like they'll ask me about like what certification should I get? What this, what that. I'm like, I don't really care. Like the it, I think you should take the certification seriously to show that you take this job seriously. I don't love the just pay to get a certification that you can Google all the answers online. But I also like all the information in that certification is not going to help you until you come in and get the reps. So I learned so much more from just working with people. Like that was the most eye opening experience for me. And that taught me more of people in coaching than I ever thought I needed to know. So again, that action piece of like, hey, go in and do the work, and that will help you a lot more than anything else.
yeah, it's necessary.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you graduated with a degree in finance, and then did you do something else before you went into coaching?
Yeah, so I worked in kind of the corporate world. I did some basically pension administration type of work.
Okay.
I will say in college, I fucked off a lot in college. Like
Damn.
I was there to hang out and party and drink, and I was getting a degree because I thought that was the thing that I was supposed to do. Right. And I got the degree in finance because I'm decent at math. And I was like, oh, this is a way that I can make money. But I didn't do any of those outside things of networking, getting internships, that kind of thing. So breaking into the finance world, having zero connection, anything like that was very, very difficult. And I didn't really want to. I think that's the other thing that didn't really push me is like I knew deep down that I was like, this isn't what I want to do. I thought I was going to be like a football coach or something along those lines. That didn't work out for a multitude of reasons. But so it was like, I didn't really think that much about the career aspect of it. And so I worked in the corporate world for a decent amount of time, hated just about every second of it. And after the pandemic, I was working completely remotely, had some extra time on my hands. And I was like, you know what? Like, I'm going to take a part-time job training. Like, let's see what happens. I was like, I love this fitness thing. Like, let me see if this is actually something, like if coaching is actually something that I can do and I enjoy. It's like, do I just enjoy this for myself or do I actually enjoy helping people? And can I actually help people? So I dove into that. I started at from a 5 a.m. to 8 a.m. shift, like part-time, and then would go home and do my regular job. And it eventually just kept growing and growing and growing. And I, kept pushing that timeline. I was like, I literally at one point pushed my corporate job. I got them to change my schedule to like 10 to 6 so that I could do extra training. And then it finally got to the point where it was like, okay, I can actually do this for real. And the gym I was working at offered me a job that had like a salary and everything. So it was like, okay, I can actually make the jump financially. But I
Yeah.
had built to that point of being able to do that. Uh, so yeah, then it ended up, I was able to quit that job and coach for real. And and the reason I didn't do it up front is because it was one of those things like you have to go to college to get a job that makes money, right?
Right.
And coaching is not a job that people can make money. So why that's not really an option. So, but then it turns out if you do it and, put the work into it, you can. And yeah, that worked out for me.
Yeah. Yeah. That seems
Yeah.
that's so.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, I love it because this is just also just shows how non-linear things are and how much like again drawing parallels into even like a fitness journey in and of itself is like
hmm
there's trial, there's error, there's curiosity, there's just like figuring things out through action.
Yeah. And being willing to try, I think is huge. And like I said, I didn't just one day quit my job and like go find a personal training job, right? I did it in steps that made sense for me and my family and my lifestyle situation. But had I not taken that first step, none of the other subsequent steps would have been possible. And it was like I said, I want to see if I'm actually good at this. So it was kind of one of those things. And I kind of think about, I remember I was kind of like posting fitness content before that, like kind of half-assed. I didn't really, and this was how many years ago? Like 4 or 5 years ago. I think it was 2021, 2022. And I was like, all I got to do is like post my physique and my training and like I'll get people just like reach out to me and like give me this, that, and the other thing. And like, that's how I'll make it. And like, it doesn't work that way. You have to actually do the work and, be good at what you're doing and be able to actually help people. So I think that was kind of a realization too, is like none of this stuff came to me until I got out there and really started to work with people and do that work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what were some of the things? that because I think this is like for people listening, drawing back the curtains a little bit, like on the coaching side, is I think that's a lot what a lot of coaches kind of like go into this field because we're passionate about it. It's changed our lives in some way and want that for other people. At least I think good coaches is so I'll clarify on that is like you really want to help people because this was transformational in some way or another for
Hmm.
self. And it's actually way more challenging
Oh, yeah.
than we thought. So what were some of the things that kind of surprised you maybe as you actually started to work with people?
I love this question, and I think about this a lot, and I talk to people about this a lot. I thought when I first started coaching that it was an information problem. People just didn't have the information. They didn't know how to eat. They didn't know how to train. They didn't know what to do. And found out very quickly that on a very general level, people know what they need to do, right? Like, I know I need to work out. I know I need to move more, get steps, cardio, whatever that means. And I know I should eat better. And generally, people know what they should eat and what they shouldn't eat. Like if you ask a normal person, like, should you eat the vegetables or should you eat the chips? Obviously, the vegetables would be the answer. But I realized very quickly that the problem is getting people to actually do those things
Mhm.
and make it work into their lifestyle. Because the the problem was like twofold. It was number one, people thought they had to do way more than they actually needed to. Like people think, oh, I can't be in the gym 6 days a week. I can't eat chicken and rice for every single meal, chicken, rice, and broccoli, whatever. And it's like, yeah, cool. You don't have to
Yeah.
do that. I don't do that. I don't, so I, I think that's part of the problem. And then just, I think fitting a program and meeting people where they're at, I think is super important as well. Cause like I had this idea of like how to train. And I was like, I'm just going to this with everybody and it will work. And that wasn't the case either because people have different schedules. People are at different skill levels. People are at different, places with their health and what they can and can't do. So I think meeting people where they're at to start to just build habits one at a time or, build that consistency over time and just get them to keep showing up. Like
Mhm.
keep showing up for me, keep showing up for yourself. And how do we do that? I think was the biggest realization for me. It's like, was actually getting to know a variety of different people and coaching a variety of different people in person, getting to feel the emotions that they had with, different things that they were dealing with or different struggles that they had and kind of meeting them with that empathy. It wasn't just, this is what you do, here's your plan, go do it, and everything's going to be great. So
Right.
that was probably the biggest realization to me of like, when you're a coach, you're not, and I kind of just thought of this, you're not a content creator, you're an actual like person in there. So when we look at like the information that's out there on social media, it's, hey, just do this, don't do this. And it's the way that the algorithm kind of forces us to be. But when you actually like work with people in person, and that's why I can tell almost right away based on people's content, like if they actually work with people, because they'll understand this, that it is a lot of give and take and figuring things out and working in the gray areas and, figuring out how to make sure that people just do the best that they can. And I think one of the other things I realized is I'm obsessed with fitness, right? Like it's been my passion majority of my life. Most people it isn't.
Right.
Like this is just something that they know they should do, they know they have to do. You don't have to do anything, but you know what I mean?
Quote unquote have to. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But for your health, yes, we should be strength training, doing some cardio, exercise, great. But so I think just understanding that about people too is like, everybody's goal that walks in and sees me is not to be a power lifter or a bodybuilder or get on, that kind of thing. It's just like, hey, I just want to feel better and move better. It's like, okay, cool. Like, how do we make sure that you do that consistently in a way that works with your schedule and that actually makes you feel better? And I think they can feel that of when I meet them where they're at.
Mhm.
And that's, I think, a super important thing. It's just that level of care of like getting the chance to understand someone else's goals, and it's okay for them to be different than their own, but you can still help them get there for sure. So yeah.
But yeah. I okay, so that brings me to a question where this was something that I kind of had a realization when I started working with people, and I mean, even in my own journey as well, was people thinking I just need the direction, I just need to be told what to do,
Hmm.
then I'll do it, and I
Hmm.
will achieve these things, and I'll feel the way I would feel, and, like, I'll be the happiest, most confident person in the entire universe. Just tell me what to eat and tell me what, like, all of these things.
Hmm.
And that's actually not what.
No, no. And the reason that that doesn't work is because either A, the person's goals aren't aligned with what they're actually willing to do. Like, if, say, I don't know, somebody comes to me, like, they're in their 40s and they're like, I want to have a six pack and do X, Y, and Z. And they have a job and two kids and, X, Y, and Z. And they're like, just tell me what to do. It's like, okay, I can, but like, if you can't do this, then what? Or if they miss part of that plan, they're like, well, fuck it. I'm not going to, and then they just fall off. The motivation falls right off. So it's figuring out, okay, why do you want to have a six pack? Why is it so important to you? Because that is the thing that's going to determine what you're willing to do for it. And then kind of setting that realistic timeline and expectation and all of that stuff. But if you don't have that why piece, as soon as it gets hard or you fall off, you're not going to come back because it's just an arbitrary goal of, well, I should have a six pack because I want people to see me a certain way, or I want to, you know what I mean? So I think, figuring out what that why is and then helping a person actually set like a realistic goal of like, do you actually want the six pack or do you just want to feel better, lose some weight and move better? And it's like, well, let's start there. Let's get you moving better, feeling better. And then maybe the goals change, or maybe you kind of change the relationship with your body and everything. I think is is another way to kind of approach that. But it's again approaching it with curiosity and not just having someone tell me, "Hey, I want this," and then saying, "Okay, well, let's just do that."
Yeah.
And giving them a plan that either doesn't work because it doesn't fit their lifestyle or it's not actually what they want. They just think it's what they want. So I think that's in that relationship building with them as well. And like, I know you mentioned feeling it in your own journey, and so did I. Like, I was the type of kid that was always athletic, pretty good at sports, but like, I never looked that way. I was always kind of like a pudgy, thick sort of kid. And I always wanted to be lean. I wanted to have that six pack. I wanted to do all of those things. I was like, this is what I need. And I did it, but I still didn't like myself or the way that I looked, and I still wanted to change it. And there were things that I still wasn't happy with. And it was in that realization of like, wait a minute, like, is this what I actually wanted? Or is there something else? And kind of going through that journey of, figuring out why it was I wanted to be that way. And then what it actually meant and what I actually like cared about was a huge realization for me too.
Yeah. Are you okay with
Yeah.
getting into those things in specific?
Yeah. Yeah. Let's do it.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I think the biggest thing is like, I suffered from body dysmorphia for as long as I can remember,
Mm.
since I was a little kid. And I remember, I'm going to call it, it's going to turn into a therapy session, but my mom told me that I was fat. And from that point forward, I was always thinking about what I looked like. Right. And every chance I would get, I would, check myself in the mirror and like try to figure out, and like always was like, I need to change this. I need to change that. And it wasn't for anything inside of me. It was all for what was on the outside, what other people were seeing, how I was being viewed. And like I said, that persisted for a really long time until probably around, yeah, like 2020, 2021. Like pretty recently, it was like I said, I got to that leanest point in my life and I still was not satisfied. And it was like, what am I doing? This is everything I ever wanted to be. And there's like, oh, wait, there's still more that I want. So it kind of just shifted. It forced me to shift my mindset into, okay, I need to understand that I am never going to be a finished product.
Mhm.
And that's also okay. Like I can have different goals at different times, and the way that I look does not determine my value as a person, because I looked the best I ever have in my life and I didn't value myself the way that I thought I would. And it was like, oh, now I need more muscle, I want to be stronger, I'm da 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 da. So it was just figuring out what it actually meant to me. And now it's like I think more about what my body can do as opposed to what it looks like. And I mean, I know I come from sort of a privileged place and that it looks pretty good.
Mhm.
But also like I'm good with that too, of like, it looks pretty good. I don't look like a bodybuilder that could step on stage, but that's also okay, you know? And being okay with that took a lot of work for me as well, of you know, being able to say that, like, yeah, it's all right, but I
Mhm.
can, you know, so it was just shifting those goals and shifting what it meant to me based on, what my physique looked like, and understanding that even if I reached a certain goal, it didn't mean that I was going to be happy, or, that the finish line was crossed and I was done.
Yeah, I mean, that's something, and I have this conversation with people often, but that was such a turning point for me as well, was like, I'm never going to actually, like, arrive somewhere. And
Hmm.
that, like, I don't wanna look at this through, it's not a negative lens, it was actually very, like, profound for me, where I was like, "Oh, this is actually kinda cool because I'm constantly evolving and constantly growing, and there's so many opportunities that I have." So, and then just taking that unnecessary pressure off myself, where it's like nothing is
Yeah.
bad or good, and it's like, let
Yeah.
me just learn from this, and it becomes a more enjoyable experience.
Yeah. And you can actually be proud of all of the work and progress that you've made to that point, and
Mhm.
you're not just thinking of it as, well, I'm not here yet.
Yeah.
Like I reached my weight goal or whatever it was, and it's like, well, that still didn't satisfy me, so I need to just keep working. It's like, no, that's awesome. You lost 20 pounds. That's amazing. Like, great work. But it's also great that, like, okay, now this is just part of what I do, and now my goals have shifted, so that motivation continues to change, and you know allows us to keep going and keep building on that why, and like keeps us in the gym and keeps us going. Yeah.
When you So you said, like, originally you wanted to look a certain way and you thought that that would be it for you, and then you kind of
Hmm.
realized that wasn't it. What were the underlying things that you were really wanting for yourself? Like, what did you want to actually feel?
Phew.
I know.
Wow. I don't know. Yeah, I feel like you are my therapist right now. But yeah, so the biggest thing for me was, and always has been, confidence. I was not a confident person in myself for an extremely long time. I don't know. Well, I mean, there's a bunch of different reasons for it, but I thought that looking a certain way would give me that confidence, and it still didn't because I wasn't okay with myself and who I was. It was just about what I looked like. So it was then kind of figuring that out of like I was putting all of this value on who I was as a physical person and what I looked like. And I realized that that still didn't bring me the confidence because I hadn't actually addressed what was causing me to lack the confidence in general. So I think that was probably the biggest realization. That was the biggest thing I was looking for. And I'm not sure exactly what changed the confidence. Like it's always still a work in progress. We all have that, the moments of imposter syndrome and like different things like that. But I think it was actually just like doing the work and going through the process. Like I think that's how you build confidence is just by continuing to expose yourself to the thing and then building on it from there. And I think coaching was a big part of building that confidence for me was
Mm.
actually working with people and like being able to connect with them and get them results and show that I did, know what I was doing and providing some sort of value outside of what it just meant to me, what fitness meant to me. I'm providing value to other people and using my story and my experience to also help them. So I think that kind of brings it along. But yeah, I think that was the biggest thing was just trying to feel that confidence in myself and figuring out that it doesn't come from what I looked like.
Yeah, can
Yeah.
relate, can
Yeah.
totally relate, and I mean, I'm sure you have this conversation, like, or a similar conversation with a lot of people in coaching too, because I think that, like, there is this misconception of what confidence actually is or where it comes from, and
Mhm.
I I don't know if this was similar for you, I'd be curious to hear. For me, like, I was avoiding a lot of the things that actually built my confidence truly. Where I was stuck in these patterns of pushing harder, dieting, like, then binging, then all the things, but it was like, I wouldn't let myself do the thing that was a little bit scary, uncertain, different, felt vulnerable to me, which, like, we could create a laundry list of what those things are, but
Mhm.
those are the things that I found myself avoiding, and I run across with the people I work with where it's like, we're avoiding the things that actually create the confidence for you because
Mhm.
it's like lived reps and knowing that like failing is okay and
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
kind of stuff.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And I relate to that as well because like the the fitness area and the gym is where I have always felt that confidence because it was a place that I excelled
Mhm.
and I could see results and do all those kind of things. So I leaned super hard into that and did avoid the other work that I needed to do. Like I for a long time was a very socially awkward person because of that confidence. So I would just withdraw from social situations. And then working in a gym and basically, having to talk to people all day long and having to spend 45 minutes to an hour with a stranger, like just got those continued reps to realize like I'm not that awkward of a person. And or like, yeah, I'm a little weird, but so are a lot of people.
Yeah.
And people kind of like it when you're a little bit different. So I think just those kind of reps in other areas of my life, and that was like the scariest part of like, oh, I can't be a coach because I'm awkward and shy and da da da. Da. And it's like, no, you just haven't learned how to actually do it because you've been afraid to do it for so long. So that's an area that was very hard. Even starting a business, taking that step was super scary because I'm not great at like the administrative type of tasks or I'm still not a super great salesperson. Like, I still not super comfortable with, like, sales conversations and things like that. It helps that I'm selling something that I know works and I really believe in,
Yeah. And
but
often.
it's still like yeah, because I worked at, I remember I worked at GNC in college, and I was horrible s a supplement salesperson because, 1, for anyone out there, most supplements don't really do anything. And two, GNC was super overpriced, and probably still is. I don't know. I haven't been to one in years, but I would literally tell people, I'd be like, go buy this on Amazon, or like, go
Yeah.
buy this on bodybuilding.com. It's way cheaper. Like, I was horrible because I didn't want to rip people off. And people would be like, oh, will this make me look like you? And I'd be like, no. Yeah, straight up, like, no,
It's
it
not
definitely won't.
for someone with integrity.
Yeah, no. So even situations like that, but yeah, it all comes back to that building confidence and exposing yourself to the things that you're uncomfortable with
Yeah.
over and over.
There's like another deeper question I have in here. Do
Good.
you have fear of like being judged or not liked?
Oh yeah, 100%. It's less now,
Mhm.
but for a very long time, I definitely did. If we want to go real deep, like I struggled with maintaining friendships all throughout my life. And I didn't understand why until I got older, that I was kind of just like a jerk. And that the self-confidence piece that I struggled so much with, it turned out like I manifested that into this like cocky, arrogant person to kind of try to fake it so nobody would realize. And you don't realize that people don't like that person. Or I would be very judgmental about other people, kind of thing. So I always struggled to get people to like me. And it was probably because I didn't like myself at the time, right?
Yeah.
If we're going there. But so once I started to, understand myself and value different things and, became a kinder, more empathetic person, is when I realized that, oh, people did start to respond to me better. And that felt good. And I know that no matter what, like I am going to now be authentically myself and live true to my values, which I know are important and good to me and my partner and all of those things. So as long as I am doing that and I am living to that standard for myself, I can feel confident that if somebody doesn't like me, then it kind of is what it is, or it's them, it's not me. Like, so I think that's helped a good bit, and I even, you still get it when you work with like a new client or for clients that it doesn't work out with for whatever reason, because no
Mhm.
matter what, we're all going to have people that it just doesn't connect. And you're like, was it me? Did they hate me? Did they hate my coaching? And it's like, maybe we just weren't a good fit, or it wasn't the right time for them. Or as long as you know that you did everything that you could to help that person or to be the person that you want to be and be a kind, caring individual, then you can feel confident that not everyone is going to like you. And that's also okay. Yeah.
That's also okay. I know the world is not going to end. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think something you said is like liking yourself, which is a question that I always, because I am a recovering people pleaser myself. And I'm like, well, did I do what makes me like myself? Because
Yeah.
that's what matters the most at the end of the day.
Yeah. Were you true to yourself?
Yeah.
And I think it's also kind of a hard question to answer, because it's like we we still have to live in a society with other people, right? Like you can't just be so selfish. Like your values have to also align with like, a- am I treating other people the way that I would want to be treated, sort of thing, or like actually bringing value or caring about other people. So part of your values kind of have to be that, I think. So it kind of works out in that way. And as long as you are acting with that intention to come all the way back to that, I think you can feel very confident. And I tell this to almost every new coach that comes to me that works with us. I'm like, one of the only things I need from you is for you to give a shit about other people. Like, if you do everything in this job with caring about the person that you're working with or the potential or the people in this space, the people in this gym, the people in this community, then you're 90% of the way there.
Yeah.
I can teach you the other stuff, but
Yeah.
if you don't care, then it's not going to work out. So I do think that's very, very important.
But yeah. Well, that goes into like, again, there's coaches, like anybody could give somebody a plan and the
Hmm.
plan will work if it's followed. But there's a huge, huge gap in
Yeah.
there. And again, even if a plan is followed, but there's not care to the human and what their values are, what their big picture goals are, any of that stuff, then it's only going to
Yeah.
work until it doesn't.
Right.
Like you said something really big that was like on my mind for the past probably 20 minutes was values, where one, super important that people actually have those identified. Because
Hmm.
if you don't know what your true values are, then it's really hard to operate in alignment with goals, especially when shit gets hard.
Hmm.
Really hard to be happy at the end of the day, no matter what. It's
Yeah.
really hard to practice confidence. So, what are some of your values that you live by?
Whew. It's a big question. And it all kind of stems from that kind of care and caring about other people, having empathy. But I kind of separate my values into different categories of like you have personal, career, and then for me, like the physical fitness piece of it is a super important one. So I kind of tier those things in that way of like, I value being a caring, empathetic partner in my relationship and, making sure that I am providing for her in the way that is needed, like showing up in that relationship. Career wise, it's making sure that I am like my value is in service to my clients, whatever small audience I have on social media, of that kind of just making sure that I am serving them in the way that is needed. And then for the physical aspect of it is just continuing to show up and be consistent with it and, continue to have goals that I want to achieve because that's something that's important to me. But I think, like I said, it all stems from the the care, the empathy, honesty, all of those kind of things in anyone that I interact with. I want to make sure that I'm being all of those things ahead of everything else. And I this is kind of something that I stole from a few different people. One of them being Mark Manson. Have you ever read The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck?
Yep.
Yeah. But I think he was like a newsletter or a blog or something he wrote one time that said your goals are bullshit.
Yeah.
And I loved it because it was literally your goals are bullshit without your values. So you have to set the values first and then everything else kind of trickles down from there. It's like, for me, what do I need to do big picture to be the best partner, to be the best coach, to be the best physically that I can? Okay, then that boils down to, okay, what do I need to do day to day, week to week to be the best partner, the best coach, the best this? And then when I have those singular goals of what I need to do each day and each week, I know exactly why. Why am I doing this?
Yeah.
Even if I don't want to. Like there's
Yeah.
times I don't want to do half the stuff we have to do, right?
That's
But
so
it's
real.
attached to that value and attached to that person that I am.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah. It gets
Yeah.
sticky when you have those things. It's really hard to not do the thing that you know is the correct thing.
Yeah. Yeah. And you set your life up in a way that makes it easy to do those things, right? Like I think about this with like diet a lot is setting up your environment for success because like a lot of people think, oh, if I just had your discipline, I I could do this too. Like I'm just not disciplined enough. It's like neither am I. Like I love cookies. You know what's not in my house? Cookies. Like Because if they're here, I'm going to eat them. I'm not going to, I don't say no to every piece of food. I don't want to do every single workout, but I have built this schedule and environment that allows me to do that because those are the things that I value. I value eating healthy to fuel my body and to look and feel a certain way. I value exercise. So I set my schedule up in a way that my exercise block does not get messed with. Like, and obviously I work in the gym, super easy for me as well. Like I'm not saying it's super hard, but it's just one of those things. Like I've cultivated that for myself because those are the things that I value. So if you attach it to your values, then you continue to build a life that allows you to live those values and you're not just gritting it super hard every single day, you know?
Oh God. Yeah. And that's so freeing to not feel
It
like,
is.
yeah.
It is.
So I was like, I can't believe we didn't mention this. And this is a slight pivot, but it's also, I think, a good transition because I know you wouldn't be able to have done this without everything you just said, because you just did a powerlifting meet somewhat recently, like a year after a major injury.
Yeah. Yeah.
How was it? I haven't talked to you about it.
I tore my bicep in the end of February 2025. And just, I guess it was a week and a half ago now, I competed for the first time again in powerlifting. So, yeah, that was super cool. And, obviously, I've been reflecting a lot on the past year and everything like that. And, people would say, why would you do it? Oh, you're really going to lift heavy again. You're going to do this, you're going to do that. And to me, there was no choice. Like I didn't make a choice to say like, yes, I'm still going to compete. Yes, I'm still going to do this, whatever. There wasn't a choice. What kind of coach would I be if I didn't do this, if I didn't push myself to return and get back to it? So yeah, it was literally from the moment it happened. Like, well, not the moment, but once the kind of shock wore off of what had just happened, I remember I was sitting there in a sling watching the end of the meet and going, yeah, I'm going to do this again. Like, I don't know how long it's going to take. I don't care, but I'm going to do this again. And I will be back and I will be as strong as I have ever been. I haven't quite reached that goal, but I got back out there. I did the thing 14 months later, 14 months after surgery, almost exactly. And I did a lot of what I wanted to do. And it was a lot of fun. And I got to compete with some of my clients, the community here in Erie that has supported me, my family. So yeah, it was super cool and a really, really rewarding experience. I learned a ton about myself and about rehab and training and everything. So yeah, it was great.
That's so cool. And it's like, again, there's no timeline. That wasn't like, oh, this was it. And I had to prove it at this point. It's like, you'll do a meet again,
Yeah.
future.
Yeah. I'm not done. I'm very proud of the work that went
Yeah.
into it that I did. But yeah, still haven't fully reached that goal. But I'm also not upset about that or feeling like I failed. So yeah.
I think that's an important distinction because even if we set goals that we don't quite meet the mark in, it doesn't mean that we are a failure. Like there's
Yeah.
so much stuff that if we're like, oh, I didn't meet the goal, and we glaze over all the other cool shit that and all the shit that like we actually did to
Yeah.
get to that point, then it's probably not living in alignment with your values. So, and
Yeah.
then again, it's like you have like this is a moment in time, and how can I use this and moving forward? So,
Yeah. And it taught me a lot about really embracing the process.
mm,
Like we say this a lot. It's such a cliche thing almost to say at this point, but it really was about that process. And me and Dan, who
yeah,
who coached me through my rehab and all the way through this meet, we were kind of talking about that of, he's like, the reason that you got to this point is because you did every single thing that we set out and needed to do and did it with the intention that was necessary, did a shit ton of boring ass work. Like I'm talking 5-pound dumbbell curls with like a 5-second concentric, a 10-second eccentric for sets of like 15. And I did every single one of those reps and counted out that tempo. And I hated every second of it, but I did it. And we did it every single day. And he's like, that doesn't always happen. And so, but just understanding like that was the intentionality that I needed to get back to the point that I wanted to get. So that was really cool and taught me a lot about, the whole of really understanding the process and how long it kind of takes if you
Mm.
want to do it and do it right. So I can't, going through that and learning everything that I did, there's no way I could be disappointed that I didn't, pull 600 again. But
Okay.
yeah, it'll happen. So it was just really cool. And it made me think a lot about, I actually listened to the conversation that you had with Curtis
Oh, yeah.
when he said like he's never actually failed
Mhm.
anything in his life because he's never quit. And I really took that to heart of like, that is so true. Like you literally can't fail if you don't quit. You just haven't done it yet.
Mhm.
And yeah, I think that's a super cool way to think about it. Like no matter what. Uh, So
Yeah, I love that way of thinking about things, and if we go into, like, what really drives people in motivation, like, deep motivation and discipline, just not the way that people think about it, is if you're always striving for something and you are working towards something, then that makes it, like, easier. I'm not gonna say that it never feels hard because it certainly
no.
does
Yeah.
a lot of the time, but it's easier to do the thing, to say yes to the thing, to do the thing that feels hard or you hate or whatever,
Hmm.
'cause you're working towards stuff. Like, it gives
It,
you.
yeah. And it also makes it easier to get back to doing it
Yeah,
when something doesn't go right,
yeah,
which it inevitably won't. Like you will miss a workout, you will miss a meal or
shit
eat a meal
happens.
that you shouldn't or
Yeah,
whatever. But like if you let that snowball into something bigger, then that's when it becomes an issue. Or if it causes you to completely fall off of, your whole plan, then yeah, that's going to be an issue.
mhm,
But if you learn that, like, if we just keep taking steps forward and getting back on that horse, like, you will eventually reach that goal. And I think in my experience, that's what, competing in powerlifting and this rehab process taught me was like, it doesn't always go the way that I want it to, but, you know, missing a day, having a bad workout, not getting a good night of sleep, like, if I can just get back to doing the things that I know I need to do consistently, then it tends to work out in the end. Like I tend to still get where I'm going. And I didn't fail because I missed one step.
right, right. Yeah, and it's empowering because, like, mentally, it can feel like, "Oh, I'm out of control," or whatever, but it's like, "No, like, I know what I need to do, and this isn't the end of the world, and, like,
Hmm.
life is gonna happen 100%."
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I love that. Cool. Alright. I wanna put you in the hot seat.
Let's do it.
Have you watched Hot Ones before?
Yeah. I love that show.
I don't know,
I
it's
actually have an idea. I have an idea to do squat ones where we eat spicy wings and squat heavy and answer questions. Yeah. It'd be great. Right. I don't know if anybody else has come up with this idea. If anybody wants
never
to,
heard it before. I would watch that.
right? It'd be
I
fun.
would watch that. Maybe one day you can invite me to be a guest
All
on
right.
it.
We'll see if I can ever put
I
that one
like it.
together.
Okay. Okay. What is the best meal that you've had recently?
Ooh. Well, I actually just took a trip to New York City.
Yeah.
So we went to this place called Tokyo Record Bar,
Ooh.
which it was this cool little restaurant in like a basement. There was like maybe like 10, 12 people there. And it was a 7-course tasting menu. And they have this like whole record collection and everybody in the room picks a song and they play each song as the dinner's going on. That was one of the best meals I've ever had. So
Yeah.
definitely the best one I've had recently. It was super cool. It was like a Japanese style, like tasting menu. So
Like a
yeah, it was,
omasake.
yeah, exactly.
My God, that sounds
Yeah, it was awesome. If you guys ever go to New York City, Tokyo Record Bar is a really, really cool spot.
I'm putting it on my bucket list for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
What song did you pick?
I picked Love by Kendrick Lamar.
Okay.
Yeah, I figured nobody else in the room would pick hip hop, so I wanted to make sure we brought a little bit of that in. They had music from like the 50s all the way through to like the 2000s ish. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's cool. And it kind of like brings the collective experience.
Yeah. Everybody's kind of in it together, like, oh, who picked that song? Da, 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 da.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was super fun.
That's so cool. I love it. And Japanese food is like
And
top.
the kitchen's like right next to you, so you get to like actually see them like cook and do all that stuff. So, yeah, it was fun.
Very cool. I'm like booking my trip to New York City right now.
Let's do it.
Okay, what are your favorite and your least favorite movement in the gym?
My favorite is definitely back squats. Just love squatting. I've always been, I thought I was better at it than I actually was. And in
Yeah.
about the past year, I finally learned how to actually squat. So that's been super fun. And that's probably my best lift in general. And yeah, I just love, like, I love squat day. I'm one of the rare people I think that likes training legs more than they like training upper body, at least men.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely that one. Least favorite, boy, that's tough because there's not too many that I hate. I'm actually a rare person that enjoys Bulgarians,
Yeah.
so I like those. I did in the lead up to this prep. I had to do single leg wall sits,
Yeah.
and that would probably be my least favorite. Sort of anything like any isolation type of hold exercise, just super uncomfortable. That one really was probably one of my least favorites. Also, we did a single leg RDL with your foot against a wall,
Oh
like
yeah.
bouncing yourself. That was way worse than I thought it was. That exercise sucks. But yeah,
Yeah. I'm like any of my clients that have that in the programming are agreeing with you right
yeah,
now.
for sure.
It looks so simple.
But it's, yeah, just, I don't know. It hits it in a certain way that it's just like, oh, that's not.
Yeah, not fun at all. You have you have pretty long femurs too, am I correct?
I think, like, relative to my body, like, I've always been kind of one of those very natural, like, low bar
Water.
squatters.
Yeah.
Like, I lean super far forward, and it's just that's how I've squatted since day one.
Yeah.
Like, I was 13 years old, and that's how I squatted, and I thought that was just how you did it until I got old enough to actually, like, start studying this stuff, and I was like, and people were, like, talking shit on it, or like I find like people would always tell me that like I must be like a Mark Ripito fan, and I had no idea who he was for a long time, and I'm not a Ripito fan by any means.
For the most same.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but yeah, I think it was always kind of natural to me, and I've always had. I found out that. Well, I knew this, but my quads are super weak because I'm such a glute like dominant squatter.
Yeah.
And that's why I said I didn't actually know how to squat because I didn't know how to use my quads for up until this year.
Yeah.
So now that I know how to do that, it's been awesome. So
Yeah. I love it.
very good. Yeah.
I love it. I feel like I like relearn how to squat every 6 months. I'm like, "Oh
Yeah.
my god, this is such a game-changing thing that I learned," and it's like the
Yeah. Small little
evolution.
tweaks, which is also something super fun about just lifting and strength training in general to me is like it's always troubleshooting, figuring out something new. Like I love that game. And my most successful clients in the gym also enjoy that aspect of things of like because it makes it more motivating to do the work and get better at it. And when you actually do get those little things right, it makes training more enjoyable. So I think if more people took that mindset into the gym, talking about the intention of doing things a certain way and actually learning, it'll be more fun than just saying like, I'm doing this because it's kicking my ass and I'm going to lose weight. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree. It's
Yeah.
makes it more rewarding and more it can be
Motivating.
frustrating, but it's definitely fun and motivating, I agree.
Yeah.
I that's one of my favorite things
Yeah.
about it
I
as
mean,
well.
I'm learning how to Olympic lift right now. I just I just started this week.
Okay.
So basically doing cleans for the first time in 15 years since we had to do them to play football.
Yeah.
But I never actually, and now like this is the first time I'm doing them actually understanding like the movement, but it is so difficult
So technical.
and so technical. And you're thinking about so many things, and like everything I know about deadlifting is like not what I'm supposed to do. So I'm
Yeah.
trying to like erase all this stuff from my brain. And it's been a very interesting challenge. Like I said, I'm like 3 days into this, but like it's been super cool to kind of go in as basically a newbie and trying to like figure something out. And like, I haven't sucked at anything in the gym for a long time.
Yeah.
Like most stuff I do in the gym, I'm pretty proficient at. Even if I'm working on stuff, it like, I can kind of understand it, but this is like completely foreign to me. So that's been super interesting. And it makes going into the gym fun, also difficult, but
Yeah.
fun. Yeah.
Well, when you say the word fun, to me, I know totally what you're talking about because I'm like, fun is not devoid of like frustration or the feelings of wanting to quit or being like, what the fuck? It's like bringing yourself back and being like, this is me practicing what I preach. This is me like being who I want to be and being like, I'm not great at this. I want to get better. What can so, and
Yeah.
Olympic lifting is a great opportunity for that.
Yeah.
So
Very good.
I love it. I'm excited for you.
Yeah. Follow along on the journey, guys.
Yeah, hopefully you have a couple more hollers after this, cheering you on. So I saw that you are a caffeine fiend. What's
Yes.
your favorite form of caffeine?
Probably espresso.
Straight espresso.
I'm a big Americano fan,
Okay.
but I do love like a cappuccino. Yeah, we got like a espresso maker, and it's probably our favorite thing. But I'm not above an energy drink by any means. I'm not above. I I take pre-workout, so yeah. a- Any form of caffeine that is liquid, I'll I'll probably consume it. Yeah,
Fair.
yeah.
Fair. I love it. What is a go-to meal for you when you're short on time or you're kind of stuck in that decision fatigue place?
So that's kind of all the time for me. Mostly because I am not a person that enjoys meal prep. I
Mhm.
don't meal prep. I don't know if people are surprised to hear that sometimes, but I'm a big, for breakfast, it's instant oatmeal. Like, I get the Kodiak, like protein oats. That's like my go to. For lunches, I found like these high protein, like ramen cups
Mm.
that are like 20 grams of protein, get some carbs. So that's usually a go to for like lunch. And then dinners, I usually always have like rotisserie chicken on hand, and we'll throw something together with that. Yeah, probably the best one. Like for me, it's like rotisserie chicken is clutch
Oh my
when you're
god,
short on time. Yeah.
it's the best.
Yeah.
I love to ask people this question because it really shows like this is a great example that you don't need to have the perfect Tupperware containers and all this stuff. It's just like the intention and the action make
Yeah.
it happen. So
Yeah. And finding it, the nice part is you can find a bunch of different things that work for you and your goals at this point. There's no shortage of food. And I think a lot of people get in oh, well, I can't eat anything processed. I can't eat this or that. Like, I have to eat all like whole foods. And yes, you should try to eat as many of those as you can. And like the things that I'm eating, like oats, something satiating. I'm not eating, a bowl of Reese Puffs.
right.
So finding ways to get high protein, high fiber, high volume foods is the way that I like to try to build my diet in ways that work for my lifestyle and not, loving to cook or do this kind of thing. So, yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
What is your biggest pet peeve?
That's a tough one because there's a lot.
Yeah, fair. I like Curtis up too. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And when I listened to that, I was listening to these questions and going, what is mine? I will say one thing I can't stand is if I can, like loud eaters.
okay.
Like, and I read about this one time. There's some sort of condition that, like, if
Yeah,
you
it's
can
called like
hear people
micro.
chewing and it does something to your brain, like, it just it gets me really bad. But I would say I would say that as far as just like a general one. In the gym, I think one of my biggest pet peeves is people that ask questions that aren't actually looking for the answer. They're just looking to be validated for what they're doing.
Mm,
Like I get this a lot with like injuries or diet specifically of like, I'm doing this, like, what do you think about it? And you tell them and they're like, okay, well, I'm still gonna just do this thing that I saw online. I'm like, well, why'd you ask me? Like,
yeah.
or, oh, my shoulder hurts. What should I do? And I give them this like, laundry list of things. And they're like, all right, well, I'm just gonna rest it for a week and I'll come back to it. And I'm like, okay. Uh, so
Cool.
I'd say maybe that.
Yeah, I could see that being that for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's hard to pick what to do.
Yeah. And I mean, I work in a commercial-ish gym. Like it's locally owned. It's a local gym, but it's commercial style. So I see the whole gauntlet of things you can see in the gym.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Okay, 2 more questions. So, one is apparently you quote movies a lot. Is that correct?
I have been known to do so. Yes.
What movie or movies do you think that you either, like, quote them up the most or that you could just watch and just
Say the whole movie.
yeah,
Mostly like comedies from like the 2000s. So Role Models would be a big one.
yes.
Super Bad, Wedding Crashers. I don't remember if it was like Facebook or even if it was like MySpace. They used to have like a tagline, or
Yeah.
maybe it was, I don't know, but it was back in the day on some sort of social media. My tagline was rule number 76, no excuses, play like a champion,
Yes.
which is a quote from Wedding Crashers. And I love that one. So yeah, any of those. There was one, now I can't think of it, of course. I don't know what movie this is from, but I say this a lot. There's I can't remember the movie, but there's a movie where he says, "Fuck you, Gumby." It's like, "Fuck you, Gumby." And I don't remember what movie. It might be from a YouTube video even, but I quote that a lot in my head. I don't say it out loud to too many people, but I don't know if it's from a movie or a YouTube video, but I should probably look so I'm
Ooh,
not quoting
okay.
something
This is
bad.
like
But
if you're listening to this podcast, you're like, "I know what that's from," then message us because
yes.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I remember hearing this, but I have no idea what that's from.
Yeah. I think I definitely quote movies a lot less because I would do it early on in my relationship and my partner did not know what I was talking about. So I just looked like an idiot quoting movies to myself. And like if someone doesn't know the movie, then I'm like, I
Yeah,
feel
those are
dumb.
weird quotes if they don't
Yeah,
know. Yeah, my husband and I quote Step Brothers to each
that's a
other
good
a
one too.
lot. It's a
It's
good
a good
one
one.
to, like, go back and forth on.
Yeah.
Okay, those are a great movie collection, like, to have in your head, so
Yes. Yes.
alright, last question is, what does doing cool shit mean to you?
Now I've been thinking about this one
I know
for a
you
while. To me, which I also want to say that I love the whole idea of doing cool shit. Like it's one of those lines and those ideas that it's like, I wish I would have thought of that. Like, it's so cool. It's awesome. And I
Right.
love all of the messaging that comes around that. And I think about wanting to do cool shit too all the time. I think for me, it's that you are doing something meaningful to you and that you are structuring your life in a way that allows you to do something meaningful for you. Now, I think people will hear that sometimes and it's like, well, I should quit my job and make my hobby my career. And I'm not telling you to do that. That's not what I mean. But you need to have something in your life that allows you to do something that means something to you. So I know a lot of people that work a job that isn't fulfilling and it's what they need to do to pay the bills. Please do that. But don't spend your entire life working on this job and just working to make more and not do anything with it. It's like, what do you do with that, the money that you're making and the time outside of that? Like, and it can be as easy as like, I spend time with my family. That's cool shit to me. Or,
Mhm.
travel, doing things that bring you joy, having new experiences that are meaningful to you. I think that's probably the biggest thing is like, are you doing things that are meaningful to you? And if you're doing that, then you're doing cool shit.
Mm, I love that. I love that distinction too because it's a little bit different than like this whole approach of like, oh, your whole life has to be the most enjoyable, like meaningful, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, that's not reality for most people.
It's like, I mean, even us, we're doing a job that truly is meaningful and that is cool shit probably to us. Like, but there's still parts of that that aren't fun,
Yeah.
right? Like, there's still things we have to do that it's like, I don't want to do that or that's not cool.
Yeah.
But it means that I get to do cool shit if I can get this part done. And I think living your life with that in mind of like, you're not just working to make a paycheck or get a promotion. It's like, what does that bring you outside of that? And what does that allow you to do? How does that allow you to do more cool shit? And I think that's the biggest thing. Cause I mean, I even think about it like, I don't do that much stuff. Like, I don't like people ask me like, hey, what are your hobbies? It's like, I do my hobby for a living.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
when I'm not doing that, I just like to hang out with my dogs and my partner and, you know, do whatever makes us happy. But yeah, I don't have this like extravagant like travel life or anything. And that's okay with me because I have those things that are meaningful to me. And that's cool.
Yeah. I love
Yeah.
that. Good job. Good job.
Thank
So,
you.
thank you so much for being here and chatting. And first, I'm going to have
Absolutely.
you like, well, plug yourself so people can find you, follow you, reach out to you, whatever.
Yeah, Instagram at Coach Q _strength _FPF for Fifth Power Fitness. That's probably the main way to reach me. You can also go to fifthpowerfitness.com to learn more about what I do, book calls, if that's something that interests you, and just find out more about what I do. But yeah, Instagram's probably the place. My DMs are open.
Yes, slide in. I'll put those in the show notes so people can just like click it
Awesome.
as well.
Perfect.
And do you still have a podcast yourself or no?
I have not, mostly because I spend a lot more time at the gym now in like that coaching manager role. So I haven't had as much time, but you can look it up still. The Lifting Cues podcast. There's some old episodes on there where I talk about a lot of the stuff about the journey, 5 powers of fitness, and just other interesting fitness content. I'd like to get back to that at some point, but yeah,
Cool. Well, it's a great resource that I will also figure out how to link that in here too. So
yeah, plug it in.
yeah, again, thank you for being here. This was an awesome convo. We again, we never know where it's going to go, but we know it's going to be good.
Yeah, absolutely. I didn't expect to get this deep, but I'm glad that we did. I hope it helps and resonates with anyone out there who listens. Thanks for having me. This was awesome.
Yeah. All right, guys. Until next time.